What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction, back with some more Morrissey, and we're continuing through the 1991 album Kill Uncle. Once again, big thank you to Seb. And as I have done in a number of my deep dives this morning, I just wanted to briefly mention that from Monday to maybe Thursday or Friday, I'm going to be doing classical reactions. I have an idea for what I'm going to call classical days, where I do some full concertos, sonatas, symphonies, so the regular musical reactions will be on hold until probably Friday or Saturday, so if you're not into classical music, I do apologize, but by the time we get to next weekend, I will be back with the regular deep dives and bands and artists, so bear with me if you can. In any case, the next track on Kill Uncle is King Lear, and there's certainly some wordplay afoot in that King Lear is not spelled like the Shakespeare play, but is instead spelled with the verb leer, which is to look obliquely or sideways at something, and I think, at least in more recent times, that has come to mean looking at someone obliquely with sexual desire or some form of lust. To leer at someone is to look at them for a bit too long and a bit inappropriately. So maybe this relates to someone who has this lecherous vision and is, again, spying on others with sexual intent or desire and is a king at doing this. So, yes, I feel like there's already a bit of comedy in the title if you know the Shakespeare play because you realize it's not spelled as it should be, so to speak. In any case, let's give it a listen. This is Morrissey, the track is King Lear, and it's from his 1991 album Kill Uncle.
Your boyfriend, he went down on one knee. Well, could it be he's only got one knee? I tried to surprise you with vodka or Tizer, I can't quite remember, but you didn't thank me. You didn't even thank me, because you never do. Your boyfriend, he has the gift of the gab. Or could it be the gift of the grab? I tried to surprise you, I lay down beside you, and nothing much happened, and you didn't phone me. You didn't even phone me, because it's not your style. Your boyfriend, he has displayed to me more than just a real hint of cruelty. I tried to surprise you, I crept up behind you with a homeless chihuahua. You could for an hour, you handed him back and you said you'll never guess I'm bored.
I don't even know what to say. I really don't actually know what's happening lyrically. So at first I was like, okay, wait, so he's talking to someone about their boyfriend, and maybe this boyfriend is King Lear, because maybe he's going around. I mean, it starts by saying he goes down on one knee, so I was like, oh, maybe he's like proposing or propositioning different people, and he's actually King Lear. And that seemed to be maybe not confirmed, but supported by later when saying, oh, he's got the gift of gab, you know, he's good at talking to people and so on. Or is that the gift of grab, which like, oh, so he's like fondling people, he's, you know, a bit handsy. But there's other lines here where I feel like it's running in a different direction, because it's like, oh, I lied down next to him, but, you know, nothing much happened. And there was a line later that seemed to suggest something similar, that like there's a lack of something happening, and then it's like suddenly he's walking up behind the person he's addressing, when like now we're no longer talking about the boyfriend. And what was it? Hands him something, a chihuahua, which like, okay, so if I'm hearing that right, suddenly he hands him a pet, a little dog, and then it's like the other person saying like, oh, well, I'm bored. So then it's like I have no idea what this apparently 3-person dynamic is, and who is King Lear. I'm still leaning toward thinking it's this third party, the boyfriend of the person being addressed, who is King Lear. And maybe there is something to him, you know, being a bit sneaky and, you know, fooling around with others outside of the person being addressed. But if that is the case, it's like the narrator tried to be one of those people and failed. Like, you know, the dynamic didn't happen the way he expected based on this person's reputation. Either way, sonically, it's fun. It's got this little shuffle beat the whole time. It has this like 2-layered like keyboard riff where it's like the main line, which has a bit more of like an electric keyboard sound, followed by this little rising flourish offset from it, which sounds more like a true piano. I think there was like a flute type layer at one point, definitely some strings along the way. So it has this kind of like 60s, early 70s feel, like it, almost like a bit of a like bossa nova, like jazz feel to it. But it's just kind of light and quirky and a bit bizarre, which seems to fit the lyrics, the story at hand, if I'm hearing that correctly. And even if I'm not, there's enough parts of it that it just sounds like a bit crazy, a bit weird. So yeah, a fun tune, an enjoyable one, a bit of a, again, like bossa nova meets kind of Islander feel to it, and yet I really don't know what's happening, and the bits I did catch, I'm really keen to know what they're actually about. So yeah, a fun one. I look forward to hearing people comment. Once again, shout out to Seb. Do let me know what you think, and Luca and I will see you next time. Peace.